lot of questions about what I use to make my paintings, so I thought that I would show you. The most asked question so far is, what notebook am I painting in? And it's actually a watercolor bullet journal, and it's from Archer and Olive, maybe like 5 years ago. I did look on their website and unfortunately it's not available anymore, but I'm going to try and find alternatives and then link it in my bio for you guys. It's just like a bullet journal inside. It has the classic dot grid, except the paper is all watercolor paper, and it's actually really good quality. Like, the paper does not crumble at all and it holds up to water really well. I do use these binder clips to keep whatever page that I'm currently working on stuck to this next stack so it doesn't like warp all over the place and go crazy. I really love it, and I think it's really good if you want to practice watercolor and be able to bring it around. The next question that I get asked a lot is, what brushes do I use? And that's gonna be the brushes from the Princeton Neptune series. I think they're synthetic squirrel, but they're really soft and they're really good for watercolor. Like, I've tried a lot of brushes for gouache, for watercolor, etc. These are my favorite by far. I know they're kind of pricey, but I think it's really worth it. This big square brush was my first purchase, and it's really good for laying down base color, and I also like to rinse it out and then use it to like take away color in places where I want that effect as well. I also have a detail brush, which is really great for just like any small details and lines because of the length of the brush. And then this one I use the most because it has a tapered end and you can use it for both fine details and bigger parts of your painting. And for me, it gets that perfect like leaf shape on the paper without like you having to draw it all out. It just like smoothly, you can just pat the brush. And so I really love this series. The last thing that I get asked about a lot is, what paints do I use? And I use two series. I use a Western watercolor and I use a Japanese watercolor. The Western watercolor that I have is this 10 tube set from M. Graham. I will be honest, they're very pricey. They were a gift to me as well a few years ago. If you're a beginner, I don't think you need something super nice, but I do really love these. And in a very Western watercolor fashion, I feel like they're super translucent, really layerable, but they're not the brightest watercolors out there. But I don't think that traditional watercolors come that bright anyway. The next palette that I also use is very new to me. It is the Kuretake Gansai Tambi set, and I bought this because I felt like I was missing some colors that I just couldn't mix in the M. Graham set, and I was actually really surprised when I started using it because I felt like it was a learning curve. It's described as a watercolor. To me, it feels like it's in between a Western watercolor and a gouache. It's more opaque than the M. Graham watercolors for sure, and it's also a little bit brighter, but I think that it has a little bit of that graininess that you get when you like really thin out gouache, and then you can tell it's not like a true watercolor. At first I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. But as I started working with it more and learning how it worked, I started really enjoying it. And I think that using the mix of the two really works for my style of art. So that's pretty much all I use to make my paintings.